Okay, guys, so what we're going to do in this passage, remember today we have two passages, so we need to be super focused in it. But in our first passage, we're looking to understand the characteristics of a flower. The different stages is kind of our overarching idea, but what we're looking for is the characteristics, the different parts of a flower. So let's go through this quickly, but with purpose. Our goal is to find what are the different parts that make up the flower. Move all my stuff so I can actually see it. There we go. Most plants make seeds. A seed contains the beginning of a new plant. Kind of our close read, we look at the picture. Tulip, daisy, rose, pea, buttercup, corn, all different types of plants, but they all make seeds. And a seed, it tells us it contains the beginning of a new plant. Seeds are different shapes, sizes, and colors. Again, close read, you take your time. Look how small, like some are just specks and others are huge in different shapes and textures. All seeds grow into the same kind of plant that made them. You think it's kind of obvious, but imagine if you planted a sunflower seed and you didn't know, is it going to be a sunflower seed or an oak tree? But here we see sunflower seeds will always make sunflowers. Oak trees will always be made from oak tree seeds or acorns. Again, I'm modeling to you that I'm not just reading it, I'm stopping and I'm thinking about each thing. So we're looking at the seeds. Now here we go. Here's some flowers. Zinnia, apple trees. Did you know apples have flowers? Same plant makes the fruit that we eat. They also have beautiful flowers. Dandelions, asters. Many plants grow flowers. Flowers are where most seeds begin. Characteristics of a flower is that's where the seeds happen. Did you know that? Now, here's an important diagram. I'm going to ask you to kind of remake it. It doesn't need to be this specific, but take some time and observe. A flower is made up of many parts. We have the petal, you know petals. If you're a flower girl, maybe you threw some petals out before the bride came. But did you know it has all these parts inside of it too? Some plants it's really easy to see, but let's look. The sticky part at the top of the pistil is the stigma. The stamens make yellow powder called pollen. You've probably heard that word. The parts of the flower around the pistil are the stamens. The stem, you know. The sepal is the kind of part around. At the bottom of the pistil are tiny egg cells called ovules. Did you know there were little egg cells? Not real eggs like a chicken egg, but there's still something that's kind of like an egg. Did you know flower is so complex? Here's kind of the basic one without all the definitions. Stigma, pollen, pistil, stamen. The process is called pollination. Before the seed can begin to grow, a grain of pollen from the stamen must land on the stigma at the top of the pistil of a flower like itself. It is called pollination. Oops, my lights went out. Give me 1 second. There it goes. So basically, before a seed can be made, a little bit of the yellow stuff, the pollen, has to go from this stamen to another flower that's the same exact. Kind of weird. So did you know pollen? And here's like a picture of it. See, this is one flower and it's actually moving the pollen to another flower so that there can be pollination to make a seed. Pollination happens in different ways. Often wind blows pollen from flower to flower. We've looked at this in science. It can move from flower to flower by the wind. Saw some crazy ways too. Bees and hummingbirds, you and me, we all can move the pollination sometimes. Bees, other insects, And hummingbirds help pollinate too. They often visit flower for their sweet juice called nectar. Pollen rubs onto their bodies. There's sometimes lizards even do this. It's really cool. So they're trying to get actually the juice that's really tasty to them, or sometimes the actual pollen. It gets on their bodies and then they go to another plant. Then they carry the pollen to another flower where it comes off into its pistil. Again, see? Pollen got on the hummingbird, and the hummingbird is now putting it on the same type of flower, but different flower. So on your next activity, I would like you to draw what a flower is, the different parts of a flower. This will require you to think slowly and carefully. We're not rushing. I'm sure you'll do a great job.